Hi guys, I'm Pranjal Mishra, founder of Your Brandmate and Zillusion Studios. So talking about Your Brandmate is a B2B agency. We work with many of the founders to help build their tech startups, their products, market them to their audience. And in Zillusion Studios, we help, in Zillusion Studios, we research a lot on virtual reality, augmented reality. So yeah, that's about what I do at this moment. I come from a very modest town that is Jagdalpur, based in Chhattisgarh. So it's a hell out of place, man. Everyone should visit there once in their lifetime. Reason being that it's a very dreamy place filled with many of the waterfalls. People still hunt for waterfalls at this moment. So there are a lot of waterfalls as well as caves there, but it's not completely mapped, right? So still some of the teams, they go hunting for different places, different caves, different
So
waterfalls.
you are saying from the place you belong to,
Yeah.
the problem of drinking water still exists, and that's why people go to.
No.
Okay.
No. So no,
Please
not
correct
like
me.
that. I'm talking about what kind of wonderful place it is, right? So
Okay.
there are a lot of waterfalls,
Okay, fine.
like there's Chitrakoot waterfall, there's Tiradga, and still it's uncharted place. So a lot of waterfalls, caves, a lot of this tourist spots, right?
Okay,
So it's
fine.
getting mapped at this moment when we
Fine,
are
fine,
talking.
fine. What-
So one should really come visit that place.
Okay, fine. Yeah, guys, everybody know the place. The name is.
That is Jagdalpur, Chhattisgarh.
Okay, fine. So you have already explained you belong to Chhattisgarh and the village name you have already told us. So you did your 10th from 10th and 12th from there, right?
Yeah.
And okay, and then you went into the college.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
you can tell us
how
about
things
it.
were with me, right? So I did of course, my schooling were from my hometown only, that is Jagdalpur. So it was a pretty good school. But I was not very a good student, right?
Okay.
Average student who haven't found his purpose yet, right? So I didn't had dream of going to IITs and all. Even this is silly of me to say this, but I didn't knew what actually IIT is until and unless I reached 11. That was when a lot of my classmates, they started talking about colleges and all. But still at that moment, I didn't care much about colleges and all. So I was kind of living in the moment. So most of the I was involved in a lot of things during my childhood, right? So it included learning music.
Okay.
So I wanted to be a musician, so I learned guitar all by myself. Of course, I went to a guitar class, but it was not enough, right? So I left it in the very early days. I was getting bored of the classics and all, classics part of like learning guitar. So I left that part and I started going through YouTube for tutorials.
Okay.
So that's how I learned guitar. And I also, like, since it got started with guitar, so I started producing some of the music. So this is very different from what I'm doing right now. But these are the things that have built my core, like learning digital skills, different tools and technologies that I use at this moment. So, like, apart from music, I was very much into like Facebook and all. So those were the times of Facebook pages. So a lot of good pages were there. So I was part of a Facebook page. So its name was Computer Tips, Tricks and Hacks, something like that. I joined that page when it was around 6,000 likes, and I was with the team members till it went to 60,000K.
Okay.
Sorry, 60,000 likes, 60K likes. So it was a hell lot of experience, because that was the point when I learned what marketing is. Like marketing from 6,000 to 60K, it's a huge deal. Like when we are talking about Facebook pages. So this was the things I was doing till I was in 10th.
Okay. You can briefly tell me about your 12th and then graduation.
Got it. So 11th, 12th were very depressing for me, because jitne bhi peers the, right, they were talking about colleges and all, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. तो हर कोई जो मुझसे पूछता था what I wanted to do, I have random answers. कभी मैं बोल देता था I wanted to be an astronaut, कभी I wanted to be a teacher, because I didn't knew what I wanted to do. तो जो भी मतलब मैं मूवी देखता था जिसमें जो cool लगता था वो मैं अगले दिन बोल देता था. So that was the scenario with me. And 12th happened, right? So after I was very in a low space after 11, 12, I lost all the confidence in general because I was away from the skills that I grabbed previously.
Okay.
Like Facebook pages and music, all because 12th board and all those stuff came in. But yeah, after that I went to a college. मेरा requirement college से दो चीज था. That is a good robotics club. Okay. Because recently in that duration I gained a huge passion for robotics. I was playing with Arduino microcontrollers at that moment. So I had two requirements from engineering college. That is, first is a good robotics club, and second is I wanted those kind of bench, right? जो जैसे 3 Idiots में step by step होता है. I had very basic requirements कि step by step benches होने चाहिए class में. Second, robotics club. My college failed me in both of those.
Okay.
So again, I was sincere in college for like 2 to 3 months. I went to classes just to know everything. जल्दी पता चल गया कि this is not my place.
Okay.
So after that I started doing my own things.
क्यों पता चल गया? Like why?
So a lot of engineering college, right? At this moment, they are all about. Of course, this is something very common. Everyone knows, but a lot of engineering college they just focus on syllabus, like having those answers by hearted and just writing it out in the exams. It does not care about the practicalities of the subjects. So, and I was someone who only cared about the practicals, like how to get shit done. And I didn't care about theories, right? So, it was poles apart from what my requirements were. So, I learned that, okay, this is not my thing. Of course, I was giving exams and all. I had zero backlogs. That was just because of a book that came in with a lot of repeated questions. So that was helpful in clearing exams. But parallel to college, right, after 6 months, I learned that this is not my thing, this whole career, writing exams, giving interviews. And I kind of started doing things on my own. So I started my first project, that is Meraki, MEERAKIE. It was more like counseling to peers and counseling to college students. So it was a failed project. Of course, it was not a right fit for me. I learned that early after like 6 or 8 months of running that particular project.
So Pranjal, after graduation, 95% or 98% of the people only want to do job or they opt for job. And then job might be in Microsoft, Google or some big companies or small companies. But 95-98% of people thinks in this way that only by doing the job you are successful, or like the purpose of doing college or degree is job. Okay. Now here come Pranjal from the one of the very modest background with no such I would say backing, with no such thing, and not doing a job. Itself is a big risk. Like from others' perspective, itself a big risk. So I would want to know, like, what was the point when you decided, no, I will not gonna do the job. I will start something of my own, and how this confidence came into you?
Yeah. So how it happened is this first project that I built, right? So it taught me a lot of different skills.
When you built this first project?
This was in 2018 when I was in first year of college.
When you were in first year of college, you started building a project.
Yeah.
So how this idea came?
So, of course, this is more related to mental health stuff. So, I said, right, 11th, 12th was not the very good place for me to be in mentally.
Okay.
So, so that's where the idea came from. Okay, we should start counseling people around us.
So, like in 11th, 12th, you faced a lot of mental issues, mental problem, and you see there are a lot of people like me who are facing the similar problem, and you try to solve it.
Yeah.
So when you enter into the college, the first thing you did is you started working on this project.
Yeah. So that taught me a lot of digital skills. Of course, that project was not the right fit for me. I was not going the right way into it. Also, I didn't wanted to earn something from that particular industry, I would say. A lot of moral reasons for that.
Yeah, but audience, the catch here is that Pranjal got some idea into the 12. He literally sees some genuine problem going around because he was there. He was the part of that problem. He was one of the subject of that problem, and he see an opportunity to solve it. And here most of the people will stop,
Hmm.
will simply think like theoretically and will not do it because of might of lack of a lot of things. But what Pranjal did is he worked on that project.
Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, every one of you who sees this kind of opportunity should start.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now you can continue.
So of course, like it was not 0 to 1 transition for me कि कल सुबह में सो के उठा एंड आज से मैं
Correct.
सोच लिया कि आज से बस स्टार्टअप
Mhm.
करना है. It was not like that for me. It was very gradual, right? So even then I didn't care about building this like big of a company around me back then. I was just like, okay, I want to build something. I'll do whatever it takes to build that particular product. So first problem statement was building that particular website and web app that we could use for counseling people.
Correct.
So back then I didn't know coding.
Okay.
I chose the most easiest option that anyone would choose, that is publishing a website through WordPress.
Okay.
Right? So it's fairly easy for anyone to publish a website in WordPress. But again, coming from nowhere, it took me around 3 months to learn those specifics that I needed to do for those features and all. And after only that I was able to do that. So it was first step for me, right? Like building the app and all. After that, the second stage was like marketing it around the colleges.
Okay.
So even that was a big task for me.
Product building part is done.
Yeah.
Okay, you had an idea into back in 11 12 that you need to solve this.
Yeah.
Now for that you figure out that you need to build a product.
Yeah.
Or which is a website here where
Exactly.
user can interact with the product. Correct.
Exactly.
So in order to build that again, you don't know any kind of coding language. For that there are a lot of platforms like WordPress which can do these things for you.
Exactly.
Correct? So you learn that and you build that successfully. You build that. Now the thing is ki website is built. Now people should know about this platform.
Exactly.
So for that marketing is required. Correct?
Exactly.
Now I'm eager to hear from you how you.
Yeah. So what I did was I had a lot of friends in different colleges, right?
Okay.
So I used them as a channel.
Okay.
To talk about this particular thing with their peers.
Okay.
And I even like tried to run some ad, but that was not very successful because we had very less capital with us. We were just college students, right?
Okay, right.
Of course, I had a team with me. We were just college students, so we didn't have that kind of capital that we can spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars in ads. Right. So we started slow, but we used more like word of mouth marketing at that moment. But of course, we didn't continue that project. There were several issues with the business model that I was trying to work in. And after that, there was few realizations that, okay, where I belong and all. We kind of closed this project. After that, I started the business that I'm currently running, that is Your Brandmate. YOURBRANDMATE.
Fine.
Right, so this is agency that I have been building since like
Fine.
2019.
Before talking about your new project, so let's talk about your old project.
Yeah.
So in your old project, what you learn is what you did is you successfully build a product. Correct. In building a product itself, you need to take care of a number of things which you would have learned in building. So then you also try to marketize it. So in doing so, again you would have learned a number of things.
Exactly.
What is the correct channel and what are the wrong channel that you should never follow. And you should have a general idea of a business construct. Correct. So and okay, of course, maybe because the product market fit was not there, or maybe because of a number of issues, you dropped that idea.
Yeah.
Correct. And then when you decided to build your new agency, or what was the time?
Yeah, so it was 2019, like after maybe 4 or 5 months of doing that closing that particular project.
Okay, fine.
So even in 2019, right, I tried multiple of stuffs. I launched a merchandise brand. This was the first registered company that I did.
Okay.
Brand name was V Plus U, and we were launching multiple of like merchandise such as Bewkoof or Soul Store. So that was the zone that I was working in. And I closed that too. It was in the break even, like we didn't had loss too. We didn't had profits too.
Okay.
Like of course we invested a lot, like company compliances and getting the initial like setup ready, right?
My question is why you choose that? Because you are into mental health and
so
this is entirely different sector.
At that moment, right, I was just exploring things.
Okay.
I didn't knew what I wanted to do. I was just 20, how much? I think I was 19 years old at that moment, and I was just exploring things. तो मुझे जो भी उस समय अच्छा लग रहा था, which of the thing that seduced me, I just ran into it. कि let's do this, let's do this, let's do this.
Let's at least do this and learn. Try to learn
Yeah.
from
So
whatever.
I didn't had any specific point क्योंकि I want to reach there with this. I was just doing things because out of fun, right? So so that's how merchandise thing started, and of course I closed it too because I realized that there are too many players in this,
Of course they are.
and this is not very. Of course it is scalable, but I didn't want it to be in that business, selling T-shirts, selling merchandise. After that, since I learned a lot of digital skills along with my partners, so we thought that one fine day we thought that okay, let's start serving startups with
But
the
how
skills
you-
that we have.
Okay. But how you learn the digital skill and why you learn that?
Yeah, so it was because of problem statement that were coming along in our lines when we were building previous projects, right? Miraki and V plus U.
Okay.
So it taught us a lot of different things, starting from graphic design
Okay.
to making a whole complete website,
Mhm.
to a lot of different things like recording videos, animations,
Mhm.
like setting up the entire logistic chain to deliver your product. We learn a lot of different things in that particular projects.
Mhm.
Of course, different set of skills, but it taught us a lot of things. And I was a kida, like since my childhood, I was a kida in learning digital skills.
Okay.
Like maybe let's design thing, let's make something out of it, let's do this, let's do that. So I was in that zone since my childhood, and it was like play for me. It was something like a game that I wanted to be in.
Okay.
So that's how I started
But
learning.
what I can get from you is it was a necessity in building both of the brands
Exactly,
previously, and because of that necessity, you have to learn or know what this
Exactly.
Marketing is.
So I never purchased any course for any of the skills that I learned. It was all through YouTube, through different documentation, different documentations or resources that the experts publish.
Okay.
So I learned entirely through the free source of knowledge that exists in the web.
Fine. Okay, cool. So you learn the digital skill, and what was the point when you decided that okay, let's build a brand around this, or let's build an agency around this?
Yeah. So it was one fine day, my co-founders, right? My ex-co-founders, Pravesh, Dhanshu, and me. We were just we were sitting. They were also my classmates in my college. So we were just sitting around in canteen or Maggie Point, I believe. There's a place named Maggie Point in our college. So we were sitting there, and I think we had a discussion. Okay, let's do this thing. We have a different set of skills. Let's bring it all together and do something with that. And that's how we came up with Your Brandmate at that point. So of course, things were not registered. We were doing this whole complete on sharing basis. So for any project that we got, we were splitting it into 33%. But we were taking care of different things.
But before going forward, a great thing happens here. So a simple guy, a lot of guys went into the engineering college and they end up doing nothing. A lot of guys end up doing nothing, and they are just figuring out what to do.
Yeah.
But what you guys do is you guys do not learn a great skill, rocket science, things like that, but you learn simple skill in a deeper way. In a more, I would say, precise manner.
Yeah.
In a more professional and precise manner.
Yeah.
Now what is happening is after 2 to 3 years of time, you all guys are expertise into one field at least, into where your interest was, and those 3 to 4 people came together.
Yeah.
And then you started working together.
Yeah.
And so that you could solve a bigger problem.
Exactly.
And that's how this Your Brandmate started.
Yeah.
And I guess when you get your first project,
it was even before Your Brandmate started actually.
Okay, fine.
So it was I cracked the e-commerce deal for a local handicraft project, and I don't know, we charged around 20,000 for that project.
Oh, wow.
So that was the starting point, right? We were serving locally. We were not big to. We didn't had confidence to run into a startup who were into corporates. Because we were just starting out, right? So we didn't had any of the portfolios. We didn't know how to communicate. So we were out of lack of confidence. We were dealing with local businesses.
The local market, yeah.
Of course, it taught us a lot of lessons, like how to do things, how not to do things, a lot of things about India 3 in general. And yeah, that was the starting. Of course, like it was a lot of the major point dealing with such a like proper such a market is that they don't have budgets for the skills that they want, right? So that was the huge deal that we were dealing with at that moment. And also this was the reason that we didn't had much revenue till we were in college. Like we did this we ran Your Brandmate as a team like till 2.5 or 3 years. And till then we didn't had much of the resources, right?
Okay.
To maybe scale it up on later phase. And that was the point when my co-founders also left because of family pressure, that we were not making revenues. And a lot of things came along. And that was the point that they left. And I took it forward from there.
And that might be the very, very one of the painful stays in your life.
Of course it was. But great thing is that none of us, right? We never burnt our bridges.
Okay.
So we are still friends.
Oh,
so one is in the same co-working that we are talking in at this moment. And another one is the co-working that is below this co-working that
Okay.
is, yeah. So we still meet along, we play, we have fun during the weekends.
Fine.
We never burnt our bridges because that was the requirement at this moment, right? Also, we have a common agreement in this point that we would Your Brandmate would not have been this bigger if they existed in this, because they were we were talking about taking this brand to a 3 different position, right? And it is important to have a common direction when you are having any of the startup. Like there should be one common aim for anyone, and all of the team should resonate with that particular aim.
Correct.
That we want to take it there. And this was the one primary reason that we were also failing to scale it up at that phase.
I want to know कि how big or small your startup is. इसको कैसे मैं phrase करूँ?
Yeah, so let me tell you, right, about Your Brandmate, right? So we officially registered Your Brandmate. It's been around 1 year and a month.
Okay.
We got registered on 22nd February. So after that, it's been hell of a ride because we started getting international projects. We have clientele based in Canada, in US. And we are dealing with a lot of health tech clients in general to serve their requirements, like building their products, marketing their stuffs. So this is the current zone. And in general, I have a working team of 11 people that includes everyone, right? The freelancers, the contractors, the full-time employees, as well as the interns at this moment. So we have a working team of 11 at this moment, and we take care of projects pretty well.
Fine. There are people around, including ourselves, who always have this one thing or two thing, which they always feel I should try out this, but again they end up doing nothing. So what do you suggest to them?
So as I was telling previously, start creating list, right, with the things that you want. Of course, it is very possible that you might have certain things in your interest that you might want to do. You are not very sure that this is something that I want to dedicate whole of my time, whole of my life, but you have certain ideas that okay, this is something I like this. You can make a short list of that and start taking those things into action one at a time. So I can confirm, or I can assure that by the end of the list, right, you'll know what you exactly like, what you really want to do.
Okay.
There's a very good possibility that you'll end up knowing what you really mean from your life. Just start a pen and start writing your thoughts regarding the same, right? And once you have realized that it is not a 0 to 1 step, like ek sidi nahi hai. Like we think that there's a huge wall. In general, people think that there's a huge wall that you want to climb at a one go, right? But aisa nahi hai. Of course, there's a wall, but it also has steps. You need to take one step at a time. Correct. Just for an example, you were talking about you launched a merchandise brand, right? So you didn't just went and marketed those stuffs. There were series of processes, series of problems that you had to solve, right? So few things comes along in that. That is first identifying what the problem is. Problem क्या पहले ये तो पता चले, मतलब आपको पता है कि ठीक है टी-शर्ट्स का स्टॉक लाना है. That is first problem कि स्टॉक लाए तो लाए कहाँ से. You went to Delhi for that, right? अभी different print on demand वाले shops आते हैं that they print on your demands. So again, step one is identifying the problem. एक बार problem identify हो गया, then you can think of possible solutions for that. Okay, these are the possible solutions, and then you try. So this is step one. Again, there would come next problem. कि चलो ठीक है ये हो गया तो अब ये करना है. This is how you climb up the stairs to climb up that wall. So it is not just climbing one big wall, but you don't have to focus on even wall. Of course, you can have like northern star kind of thing जहाँ पे you know कि this is where you want to go in longer run, but it's all about taking those small steps.
Correct. Generally, even if someone is doing job and someone is not able to follow what they want, generally what you want to like with your experience toward life, what you want one thing that people should change about themselves.
Okay, so one thing is that I have met a lot of people. Of course, like all of this thing, right? That you want to build for yourself and build for public, helping people. But I've also seen really great people who are completely opposite on the spectrum, right? That they want to live their life, right? Being on like living. So what I feel is that first of all, you'll have to figure out what kind of person you are in general, right? If you want to like hustle, of course I'm using the word hustle in very shallow sense at this moment, but if you are someone who is very workaholic, you want to dedicate.
But the problem is, Pranjal, how to identify that? How I would know in what category of people I fall into? How to identify that?
Just for an example, right? This is very easy answer, to be honest. You know that you're a workaholic in general, right? Why? Because you get different answers, you get different ideas, right? Yes. And you like taking those steps into actions.
I do like that.
Yeah. So you know that you belong to a category of people who like to build things in general, right? Again, people who like enjoying the life, they also have great stories to tell, right? They have great ideas regarding life and the world. So, of course, there are also different categories. I am not saying that these are like pole ends.
Correct.
Of course, there are a lot of people who like to like merge both of these things. Like they'll also work, they'll find a balance, and they'll also travel. They'll give their time to family.
I think I can answer this.
Yeah.
I'm getting an idea on this. Yeah. I can answer this. So, okay. So, by doing certain thing or by being in certain state, you will have a different kind of feeling in yourself, yourself that only you can understand. Okay. So, for example, if somebody genuinely loves music, like they will be outstruck. Their favorite musician is playing some music. Okay. Like they will be lost into that. Okay. That is like, that's how you understand that you love music so much. It's natural.
Exactly.
You don't even have to identify. It's natural. So you need to at least observe yourself that what are those 1 or 2 or 3 things wherein you lost yourself. You don't even, have the sense of, and you feel so much of happiness. There is so much of dopamine thing going on.
Exactly.
You. So that I guess that can be one of the parameter to identify, your passion or thing you love.
Exactly.
Right. So you can continue.
No, I think you answered it pretty well, right? So passion for something, it comes from the inside. Like you cannot force something out of someone, right? If like someone is really hardworking in general, but if you hand over him or her the things that they are not interested in general, they don't give a damn about that thing,
Correct.
right? But if it is something that it really interests them, they would do whatever it takes to
Correct.
get that thing done. So you cannot force action, you cannot force interest into someone. So this is something that they learn from their own experiences.
Yeah, for example, if I talk about myself, I figured out after a time that I'm so much talkative. I can talk to a person like for an hour or two, want to know about their life and interest and everything. Okay. Now this is what I figured out.
Yeah.
Figuring out thing. Yeah, I figured out this. Now there is always a way to do something out of it, to build something out of it. And the podcast is one of the example that we are simply talking, but we are recording it.
Yeah.
And we are making this talk, like we are making this talk in a structured way. These are the secondary thing, but you need to figure out that and you need to structure it. So yeah, of course, and you should never ever, and also what I have understood is that you should never ever do something because someone else has done it. Someone else have done it and people are idealizing them. You should never ever even try those things, and those things will never work.
Exactly. So this is a very common saying in startup world, right? That a company is reflection of their founders in general, right? Very general key cannot solve all of the locks, right? So it is possible that this particular lock might require very custom key, very custom solution. So yeah, in that case, yes, like what you are saying is very true. Like one simple solution cannot be fit into all the problems of life. So this solutions, right, it comes from your own experiences. Like you know very specifics about your problems, like okay, these are the things that I need to resolve, and these are the resources that I have to solve this, and then you'll restructure your solution in that particular way. But a solution that might be very general in nature, that might come from any of the influencer you follow or from the books that you might have read. So it is not the possibility of that particular thing solving your very specific life problem. It is hard actually. It does not fit in. It might not fit in. Correct. So it is your experience that solve your problems.
So I would say you are doing nothing but experimenting with your life.
Exactly.
And you are doing this since from first year of your school, first year of your college.
Even before that, right? Because I was into various things. I was into music that I figured out that okay, this is not my zone in general.
So this is an amazing discussion that we are having right now. That see people, and you will see a lot of talks going around that you should have clarity. You should have clarity, but you will never have clarity if you don't try 100 things. And I don't think we should reach to the clarity. It's not even needed, you know. So yeah, you are experimenting with different things and you are romanticizing with them, and in that process you are building things as well.
Yeah,
correct. So it's an amazing thing to learn from people like you. Just to experiment, whatever comes in your way, do an experiment with that, and you will definitely have something that you can go with. So fine. And okay, and what is your 5-year plan or 10-year plan or 20-year plan from now? What is your vision of your future for yourself and your...
Yeah, so there are few things, right? I want to build a team and processes around me that don't really care about money, but they focus on building things. It doesn't matter if it is product, if it is software product, if it is hardware product, or it is music, or it is art. I don't care about the medium.
Okay.
I care about the art, right?
Okay.
Not even the not even the byproducts of those art, but pure art, right? Okay. So I want to create a team around me that love what they do, regardless if there's money, if there's not, right? And of course, this comes after the team has cleared few stages of life when they have cleared the financial issues and all those things. This is possible at that level, but I want to create that kind of team with around me that
But what is the element that will give you joy? Why you want to do this?
just for this like love of building things, right?
Okay.
Or making things.
Okay, you love to build things.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
you know what, I've been since my childhood, right? So there was a music artist, Avicii.
Okay.
So I'm sure you might have heard some of his music. So I used to watch their live streams. So their live streams basically covered couple of people, maybe a lyricist, someone sound designing, a guitarist. They're just there in a flat creating music 24 hours in, and they're in creating music, literally vibing out of creating music.
Okay.
They don't care about money at those times. They just create, they vibe, they create just for sake of creation. So that is something that I got inspired from in general. That has been there for me since long.
And I guess that's where the naturality and organic things comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah. You are correct. True.
So I want to create a team around me. Of course, we might. I don't know where it might end up being, but I want to create such a team. That is first thing. Second, I want to learn fly.
Okay.
I want to learn flying.
Okay.
So I want to have a PPL license with me. So this is basically childhood dream of mine that I want to learn fly airplanes. So this is something. And coming to the real thing, right? The company. So I want to scale Your Brand Mate really hard, because this year is all about scaling it up. We have cleared our PMF and everything in general. We have great portfolios with us. We have worked with a lot of great founders, great companies. Now it's about putting the fuel up, right? We know where the fire is. We have even lighted up the fire a bit. Now we want to pour in all the fuel that is possible there to scale it up. Second is, I love virtual reality. Okay. Not just virtual reality, but entire like VR, AR, all of the segments, right? So I see a great possibility there, and I know game designing. So back when I was in college, right? So this was one of the things that I learned, that is Unreal Engine. It's a really heck of a tool. Like it's amazing. You'll fall in love once you start realizing what it is capable of. So I learned that tool, and I think I'll be building something around those lines.
What that tool is.
Okay, so it's a game engine, but it is capable of building very high fidelity stuffs. And by high fidelity, I mean this is a room, right? This room, there are few elements about this room. The objects, the materials that is covered around those objects, because this fabrics, they have very specific physics regarding that, right? In terms of illumination, how they build shadows, how rough they are, how they treat, how they react to different elements of physics, gravity, resistance, all those various things. Sound. So Unreal Engine is very capable in those stuffs. Like you can really create very organic looking scenes in Unreal Engine, and people would not even know that this is not real.
Okay.
Right? So the second brand that I was talking about, my own company, is Illusion Studios. So it is dedicated to researching and playing around with virtual reality, augmented reality, and trying to like build things around that. Because at this moment when we are talking, right, it is not the best time, I would say, to build on virtual reality or augmented reality, unless you are a hardware based company. Because this industry, right, currently a major bottleneck at this moment is hardwares. Not even the softwares and infrastructure at this moment, but the hardwares. So once those things are sorted, the infrastructure part can be taken care of. Of course, a lot of big companies are doing that, like Unreal ho gaya, Meta. A lot of companies are doing that. But yeah. So I see a good future in virtual reality, augmented reality.
Chalo, it was super nice, super awesome to talk to you. And thank you so much, Pranjal. It was so nice talking to you.
Thank you so much, bro. Lovely meeting you.